Hiring and salary. Two resumes land on a hiring manager's desk. Same school, same experience, same qualifications. One candidate gets the interview and a salary 15% higher than the other, and the only difference is a photo attached to the top of the page. Welcome to every unfair advantage attractive people have, starting with the one that affects your bank account from the day you enter the workforce. Researchers sent identical resumes to hundreds of employers, with one variable, the photo. Attractive candidates scored higher in perceived competence and received significantly more interview callbacks. Black women who were rated as less attractive faced the strongest appearance-based discrimination of any group tested. The bias doesn't stop at hiring. Attractive employees earn 10 to 15% more than their peers doing the exact same job, and men benefit even more than women from this premium. MBA graduates rated as attractive earned over $2,500 more annually, and that amounts to tens of thousands of dollars in lost earnings for average-looking workers across an entire career. Employers don't realize they're doing this. They genuinely believe they're evaluating leadership potential and competence when they're mostly just responding to facial symmetry. The Courtroom Pass. Walk into a courtroom and commit the exact same crime as the person next to you. You get 5 years, and they get probation. Their lawyer didn't do anything special. Attractive defendants are significantly less likely to be arrested when police have discretion in the situation. When they do get arrested, they're less likely to be convicted by juries who struggle to reconcile the idea that someone good-looking could have malicious intent. And when they're convicted, they receive measurably shorter prison sentences for identical crimes. The effect is strongest for women, who benefit more from appearance in criminal justice than men do. Studies with mock juries have found that jurors shown identical case evidence but different defendant photos consistently rated attractive defendants as less dangerous, more trustworthy, and less deserving of harsh punishment. Real-world data backs this up. Researchers analyzed thousands of criminal cases and found that sentencing gaps based on attractiveness were wider than gaps between violent and non-violent offenses. People have trouble believing beautiful equals guilty. Your brain wants those two concepts to stay separate, so when evidence forces them together, you instinctively look for reasons to explain it away. Prosecutors know this, defense attorneys know this. The only people who don't seem to know are the defendants who lost the genetic lottery and got 5 extra years because of it. The halo effect. Your brain sees someone for the first time and makes a judgment in less than a second. That judgment overrides actual evidence, ignores contradictory facts, and shapes every interaction you have with them. You never correct it because you don't know it happened. Psychologists call this the halo effect. One positive trait makes you assume other positive traits exist. When that trait is physical attractiveness, your brain automatically decides that person is more intelligent, more competent, more trustworthy, more socially skilled, and more morally virtuous than people who look average. Researchers have tested this across dozens of studies, and the pattern holds. People genuinely believe attractive individuals are better humans in nearly every measurable dimension. Your brain processes attractiveness faster than it can gather actual evidence about someone's character. And once that snap judgment lands, contradictory information struggles to dislodge it. Show someone proof that an attractive person lied, and they'll find ways to excuse it. Show them an average-looking person doing the exact same thing, and they'll call it a character flaw. Even when you know about the halo effect and consciously try to correct for it, the bias keeps influencing your decisions. This effect underlies nearly every other advantage on this list. Political elections. You vote based on policy positions and experience. At least that's what you tell yourself when you walk out of the booth. Researchers tracked elections across dozens of countries with different political systems, voter demographics, and cultural norms. In every single one, better-looking candidates won more often than statistical probability allows. The effect was consistent whether the election was in Finland, Brazil, Australia, or the United States. Facial attractiveness predicted outcomes independent of party affiliation, campaign spending, or debate performance. Voters with health problems are especially drawn to attractive candidates. Sick voters unconsciously associate good looks with vitality, physical health, and stronger leadership during crises. When researchers controlled for every other variable, the pattern held. If you're struggling with illness, you're statistically more likely to vote for the candidate who looks healthier, regardless of their actual policy platform. Candidates spend millions on consultants, ads, and ground operations, but a strong jawline might be doing more work than any of it. Democracy is supposed to run on rational evaluation of qualifications and ideas. Instead, voter decisions are influenced by something completely unrelated to governing ability, and nobody wants to admit it's happening. Academic grades. A professor grades the same paper twice and gives it 2 different scores. They have no idea they did it. Neither do you when it happens to your work. Researchers gave professors identical essays with one variable, a photo of the student. Less attractive female students receive significantly lower grades than attractive female students for the exact same work. The bias didn't affect male students as strongly, but for women, appearance became a grading criterion the professors never consciously applied. When the same professors taught online courses where they couldn't see students, the grading gap disappeared completely. Same professors, same standards, same rubric. The only difference was visibility, and suddenly, all the students got fair grades. Professors genuinely believe they're grading work objectively, while unconsciously penalizing students who don't fit conventional attractiveness standards. Those lower grades compound into worse outcomes: reduced scholarship opportunities, harder paths to graduate school, damaged academic confidence, and career trajectories that never recover from a GPA hit that had nothing to do with actual performance. Trust scores. You're standing in a crowd and need someone to hold your bag while you run to the restroom. You scan the faces around you and pick one person over everyone else. That choice happens in seconds, and it has almost nothing to do with who's actually trustworthy. Rice University ran experiments where participants decided whether to trust strangers with their money in cooperative tasks. Attractive strangers were trusted significantly more, faster, and with less evidence than average-looking people. The effect persisted even in high-stakes financial scenarios, where participants knew they should be cautious. Trust developed instantly based on appearance, even though there was zero correlation between how someone looked and whether they actually deserved that trust. Evolutionary psychologists argue we evolved to associate physical health and attractiveness with reliability as a mate or an ally. That instinct made sense when survival depended on choosing trustworthy partners. But now that same shortcut operates in contexts where it has no logical basis: business deals, lending money, and online transactions. No research shows attractive people are actually more trustworthy. They're not more honest. They don't cheat less or lie less frequently. We just treat them like they do, and that treatment gives them access to opportunities, resources, and second chances that average-looking people never get offered in the first place. Tips. Servers who provide worse service make more money than servers who do everything right. It happens consistently, but only if you're a woman. Attractive female servers earn over $1,200 more per year in tips compared to less attractive female servers working the same shifts. Researchers found that attractiveness was the strongest predictor of tips for waitresses, stronger than service quality, personality, experience, or how fast they refilled drinks. Meanwhile, attractiveness had almost no effect on male servers' earnings. Male customers, who tip more on average than female customers, tipped attractive waitresses significantly more. Female customers also tipped attractive waitresses more, though the gap was smaller. Controlled experiments took it further. Researchers held service quality constant, same attentiveness, same speed, same friendliness, and attractive servers still made more. Even when the less attractive server objectively did a better job, tips favored appearance. Another study tested makeup as a variable. Waitresses who wore makeup, increasing their perceived attractiveness, earned measurably higher tips than the same women without makeup serving the same customers. Social competence. 2 kids start first grade with the same social skills. By graduation, one is more likable, more socially comfortable, and more self-assured. Attractive people receive more positive social interactions from the beginning. More smiles, more compliments, more patience when they make mistakes. That constant positive reinforcement builds genuine confidence and social ease. Confidence makes them more successful in social situations, which generates more positive feedback, which reinforces their abilities. The cycle repeats thousands of times before they reach adulthood. Researchers studying male high school students with pretty privilege found they developed stronger social networks, better communication skills, and measurably higher self-esteem compared to their average-looking peers. By adulthood, attractive people actually do have better social skills, not because they were born with them, but because they've had thousands more opportunities to practice with guaranteed positive outcomes. It's not just that attractive people get advantages. They also get to become more competent because of those advantages, which earns them more advantages, which builds more competence in return. The gap keeps widening because the halo effect becomes partially self-fulfilling. They started with an edge they didn't earn, and it turned into skills that they did. Healthcare choices. You're choosing between two doctors with identical credentials. You pick one and avoid the other. Medical school ranking didn't factor into your decision. Researchers studying patient behavior found a consistent pattern. Patients prefer attractive doctors of the opposite gender and actively avoid attractive doctors of the same gender. Male patients chose attractive female doctors and avoided attractive male ones. Female patients did the reverse. The psychology comes down to attraction and insecurity. While patients are drawn to attractive providers of the opposite gender, they avoid attractive providers of their own because nobody wants to feel inadequate sitting across from someone who looks better than they do. Medical competence, patient outcomes, and years of experience all mattered far less than appearance. That pattern of choosing doctors affects the entire profession. Doctors who are actually good at medicine but don't fit conventional beauty standards end up with fewer patients, less income, and smaller practices, while attractive doctors with worse outcomes thrive purely on aesthetics. The system prioritizes appearance over the only thing that should matter: who's better at keeping people alive. College admissions. Elite universities stopped using test scores alone for admissions and added face-to-face interviews and campus visits because they wanted fairer decisions. The bias got worse. Students deemed more attractive are more likely to be accepted into prestigious colleges, even when researchers control for academic performance, extracurricular activities, and essay quality. When admissions were test-based, scores provided some objectivity. Holistic reviews were supposed to level the playing field by evaluating the whole person. Instead, they opened the door for subjective judgments, where attractiveness unconsciously became part of the assessment. Admissions officers think they're evaluating leadership potential, intellectual curiosity, and character. What they're often doing is responding to how someone looks and using vague criteria to justify decisions they've already made. College admissions determine career trajectories, social networks, earning potential, and life outcomes. All of that gets influenced by facial symmetry. Elite institutions claim they're selecting the best and brightest, but they're unconsciously weighing physical appearance in that calculation. The students who get rejected aren't necessarily less qualified. They're just losing a beauty contest they didn't know they were competing in. The help factor. Your car breaks down on the side of the road. How long you wait for someone to pull over and offer help isn't random, and it has nothing to do with how urgently you need it. Studies show that strangers stop more quickly, spend more time helping, and are more likely to offer assistance to attractive people than average-looking ones. The psychological mechanism goes back to the halo effect. Your brain assumes attractive people are good people who deserve help, while average-looking people get categorized as less worthy of your time and effort. You don't consciously decide someone isn't worth helping. Your brain just prioritizes attractive people without asking your permission. Getting directions when you're lost, someone holding a door open, help with dropped groceries, or assistance with a broken-down car. These moments seem trivial individually, but they accumulate across a lifetime into significantly more social support and resources. Attractive people don't just get more help when emergencies happen, they get more help in 1,000 small interactions that add up to an easier life. Healthcare treatment. Your doctor doesn't realize they're spending measurably less time with you than the patient before you. Those missing minutes can add up to years off your life. Less attractive people face measurable health disparities and reduce longevity. Doctors spend less time with less attractive patients, conduct less thorough examinations, and provide shorter explanations of diagnoses and treatment options. The difference is consistent across thousands of patient interactions, and none of the doctors realize they're doing it. The bias operates unconsciously, while they genuinely believe they're treating all patients equally. Those shorter appointments and less thorough exams produce worse health outcomes. Less attractive patients are more likely to have conditions missed, symptoms dismissed, and treatments explained poorly. The cumulative effect shows up in mortality data. Less attractive people die younger, and the treatment gap is part of the reason why. This is the most serious consequence on the list. Your lifespan is partially determined by your facial structure. Attractive people literally live longer because doctors unconsciously give them better care. It's not that less attractive people are sicker to begin with. It's that the healthcare system treats them worse at every stage. And those small disadvantages compound into years of lost life. Most people have lost out on advantages or been denied opportunities they deserved, all based on a face they didn't choose. The unfair part isn't just that beauty wins, it's that nobody admits the game exists.